This is my new Quincy Air Compressor. I just finished installing. I'll show you a few things on here. I put some rare earth magnets on the end here. That way it catches any debris or microscopic metal shavings, what have you, that are floating around as the motor or the pump is breaking in. This will catch it when you do your next oil change. So whatever may be in there will be drawn toward the magnets. So these just come, nothing special, just put them right there, done. And then this is the metal enclosure that I purchased. I had to drill the holes out in the front, one for the hour meter, one for the switch, some unistrut on the top, drilled out some 3/8 holes here to anchor it, painted it, and then ran, let's see, this is what we got here. Ran a terminal strip inside, made it all nice, coiled it up, excess cable in case I wanted to do something down the road with it. Punched out the holes on the bottom. Ran a switch here, you'll hear it click on. And that would be for the 240 volt water trap, or 230 that I installed. And that runs here on the bottom. I ran some stainless steel cable, braided cable. Ran it out here, ran it on the unistrut, so all the water, moisture from the tank goes outside the shop here. And then I have manual valves in addition to the tank water trap. I found these rare earth magnets and didn't want to glue any stripping onto the tank. So what I did is I glued the magnets to the plastic enclosure that holds the cable from the water trap. And then I ran some, what do you call it, clamps inside. Not the best video, but anyway. And we have it here, and then ran a vibration strap and actually brazed that on. That's actually brazed on. You could solder it and it'd be fine. I'm not going to get over anything over 300 psi, so I'm fine there. You come up here. The reason I ran the copper, this is 3/4 copper, is I want most of the moisture or anything to fall back and fall down here on this, so that way it can be drained out at the bottom, and that would be here, and that would be a manual drain, which is this one here, which I can come back to those. Then it runs over here to the side. Then I ran 230 single phase outlet. And then what you see here, this is 3/4. They call it L. It's rigid 3/4 on the bottom. No, I should say 3/8 rigid on the bottom, then 3/4 on the top. And the reason I ran the 3/8 rigid on the bottom, I just thought it looked cleaner. And that's another way to drain the excess moisture or water that's caught. And it all runs out the main drain here. Then if you look over here, found this filter regulator, installed it on some unistrut with some mollies. Then I ran it over here. I had to do some interesting plumbing because of the room that I have. I don't have a lot of room here on these two tables, and I need extra room to do tabletop work. And we have ran another setup, and this is for more delicate work as far as like spray painting cars, wood, staining, more delicate work. And this is all 3/4, and it goes to 1/2 inch fittings, 1/2 inch tubing. I had this made at a local plumbing store, you know, that does fittings and hoses. So I told him the measurement, and then we put that in, and this is a JIC fitting. This would be 1/2 inch to 1/2 inch JIC. And then it goes the same on the top here. I got the fittings from the store here. Then we got this 1/2 inch hose reel by Milton, which is nice. The hose reel and all the bigger accessories I was able to purchase on Amazon. All the plumbing hardware and stuff, I got that local hardware store, Home Depot, Lowe's. It was just easier to go back and forth. And then the 3/8, I got a local air conditioning shop, and then soldered these in. And then it has a JIC fitting here, and then I can crack this. If there's any moisture, I can manually release it, and it all comes back down to the main drain here that is ran outside. And then this is a, let's see, changed the decals around a little bit. Ran this nice flex line. I thought it looked cleaner than the cable. And what we did here is run some vibration dampeners, which I think is 3/8 anchors that I ran into the ground on all 3 legs, as you can see. I thought that looked pretty cool. And this is just more of a layout of where the water drains back outside. And then again, this switch is 230, and I thought it'd be cool just to run it all in the same box. That way I didn't have to run that to 120 outlet. So let's see if we missed anything. I think that pretty much covers it. And these are actually special clamps. Are not the same as the ones that you would use, you'd find at your local hardware store. I had to special order those. Those were ordered from Amazon. The tank was ordered from Amazon. The hose reel, most of the regulators, the filters were ordered from Amazon. And then this was a reconditioned hose reel. For the price, I couldn't pass it up, and I was able to find that on Amazon as well. So let's see what else we got here. The reason I ran this one is just for local stuff that I'm going to do in the shop. I'm going to blow out equipment and just do stuff. I don't need to run it through the hose reel and waste all the media in this filter just to do minor stuff around the shop. It doesn't make sense to do that. So that's why I kept the two systems separate. It just made more sense to me. Oh yeah, and this hose here, the stainless steel, this is your typical, I think it's a 1/4 inch faucet line that you can buy at Home Depot or Lowe's or any place like that, your local hardware store. And it's the same stuff they would use on a sink. Since there's no pressure, it's not holding pressure, it should be fine. I've been running it, had no problems. If it was under pressure, I would not run this type of hose. Definitely not, but it just looks cool. The way it wraps around, I was able to shape it. You know, like I said, I have little room here. I'm right up to my work cabinets. So I had to just make everything work for the limited amount of space that I had. Changed the decals around. I didn't like the way that the factory puts them on. Took off some decals. They had too many on the tank. Thought it was overkill. But at least they put the right glue on there, so if you do decide to remove them or keep them, that it doesn't pull the paint off the tank. You know, I just think it looks cleaner like this. And then electrical hole punch out set. And for this switch, I actually had to drill 4 holes, 1 in each corner, and then cut it out with a little die grinder to make that one fit. I could have done a round one. And then again, you know, there's probably 10, 12 different ways I could have done this setup, you know. But, you know, if you're going to do the job and you're going to pass it down maybe to one of your family members, or, you know, do it right. There's no reason to, you know, hokey pokey it. Do it at your best, you know, give it your best. And that's all you can do, you know. Give it your best. And if you have any questions, you know, feel free to ask, you know. I did have some leaks in these unions, and I will say that I did use a Loctite, not on the thread, on the, what do you call it, the bevel piece. I do just put a little bit with the Q-tip swab. And remember, don't get it on your paint or on your clothes, because it will stain or remove paint if you have leaks, because these are not perfectly machined inside where the two pieces mate together. They're just, you know, they're ran in a factory. They're not precision. If you want to fill any voids or gaps, just put a light film. Now again, I would only do that on airline. I would never do it on a water line or anything that, you know, you're going to drink from. But, you know, I would definitely Loctite those in. You can use something like, they have a pneumatic Loctite. You do your research or your homework. It's not necessary if you're not having any leaks. Now my tank will hold, it'll hold the air for almost 3 or 4 days, and then it'll kick on. So there's a couple more I'm gonna have to, maybe one more leak that I gotta look for somewhere. It could be a valve, it could be something really simple. And the reason I put the hour meter on there is I want to keep, you know, track the hours, you know, that way I can do the tune-ups or the oil changes correctly and things like that. So this has been a great compressor. It's pretty quiet. I can actually manually turn it on so you get an idea, and then I'll turn it off. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a nice day. Thanks.